Gustav, the developer of TupiTube. Welcome to our channel. Today is Tuesday, and it's a new day to make another workshop for TupiTubers. This is our version number 15. I want to start saying hi to all the people who is joining the transmission. Thank you guys for being there. You are my inspiration to keep doing these workshops. Okay, let's start. What is this workshop about? As you can see, the topic for today is the TupiTube Library project, or the TupiTube Library repository. It's a set of assets we are creating to make the animation experience more easier for you guys. So what are we going to do today? We're going to do several exercises using some assets from the repository. That's it. That's the challenge. Okay, so let's start with the first exercise. What are we going to do? Well, it's easy. For the first exercise, I'm going to explain you how we are creating the assets for the library. So maybe if you are interested into creating your own assets, you can follow our example. It's just a suggestion. Maybe you are interested. So let's start. Let's make this exercise. We're going to create a little bottle like that one, like the one you are watching in the screen right now. Okay, so let's move to the TupiTube interface. I'm going to start explaining how we create this kind of assets. Okay, the first step we follow is to make a basic raw sketch of the asset we want to create. So as I want to create a bottle, I decided to make this very basic structure that gives me an idea of what I want as final result. Okay, so step number one, make the sketch. It can be raw, you don't have to make it so elegant, you know, so complex. It's just a basic idea, so you can have some kind of guide to start. Okay, well, now that I have the sketch, I can start making the border of the figure, the border of the shape of my asset. So for the case of the bottle, I made just one line. If you can see, it's just one line, following the whole border of the bottle. Okay, so I will keep adding new little elements, always trying to use closed shapes. As you may know, the fill tools for coloring elements in TupiTube is still under development. So to make easier the process of coloring or assets, we are following this procedure. We are working only with closed shapes. The best practice to achieve a good result, in my case, is using the line tool. I start drawing lines following the shape I want to, and after that, I'm just trying to show you how I do it. And after that, I pick the notes editor, and then I fix the shape to make it the most perfect I can. That's it. Okay, so let's keep adding new elements. I use an ellipse for the top of the bottle. Then I use color to fill the bottle. As it is a closed shape, I didn't have any issue painting the bottle. Now I started to add some small details. As you can see, this kind of shiny effect. And how I did it? I just use the transparency parameter right here in the color palette panel. So you can create interesting effects using transparency, as this that you can see right here. Let me try an example. I'm going to use a transparent contour, a transparent border, and I'm going to use fill white. If I don't use transparency, it is going to look like this, which is not funny. But what if I change the transparency, the alpha value? If I change it, I can create an interesting effect. I can see of some kind of light, some kind of shine. Okay, so let's keep looking for other elements. You can see now a shade, a shadow, a little shadow here. I did it using the same trick, playing with the transparency value, but this time using black. If you use the color black but adding some transparency value, you can create this effect like a shadow. Okay, then I added a little element in the top, little cap. I don't know how to call it, but well, you know what is this. And I keep adding more and more shades. In this step, I added some kind of water, some kind of liquid inside the bottle. I put it behind the main component of the bottle. I put it behind, and using several different values of transparency. So at the end, as you can see, this is the final result. But now you can see how everything starts with an ugly sketch, but adding the right elements, you can end with a very interesting asset. As final step, you have to group all these elements. You have to group them using the object selection tool right here to make it just one object. Now we have just one object, and this is important. You should be able to add it into your local library. So let's call it bottle 2 and let's add it. It's right here. You can export it and save it in any folder of your computer, and you can reuse it for many projects in case you want to take advantage of this asset once and again and again and again. Okay, now this bottle it's already available in the repository, so in case you want to watch it, you want to use it. Give me a second. I'm going to kill the music for a while so we can keep talk easier. Okay, as I was mentioning, this bottle, this asset is already part of a repository, so you can use it right now. So let's start a new project. If I go to the library panel and open the asset search engine, if I can type bottle as object and I look for it, it used to take a little. Okay, here it is. So I just want you to know that it's available and that you can use it right now in case you want to study this asset. Oh, sorry. Okay, This is the first part of this workshop. Now that you understand how we are doing the assets, let's make some examples. In the case of the bottle, I would like to show you an example I already made. Bottle 2. This is a very basic example. I use a background, a dynamic background from the library repository. I use the bottle that I already showed you how to create it. And finally, I use a rotation twin to make it to make that interesting movement of the bottle. So as you can see, using few elements of the TupiTube Library repository, you can create small but cool scenes. And if you feel you are not good drawing, if you are not good illustrating, well, you can take advantage of the repository to create your own scenes in an easy way, and you don't have to care much about how good are you drawing characters or backgrounds or whatever you want to. For me, this is important to say because I know that there are many students that want to become professional animators, which is great, and they want to learn how to draw, they want to learn how to animate frame by frame, and they are working really hard, and which is wonderful. TupiTube is providing some tools for them, but the TupiTube library project is focused on the other kind of students, that kind of student that used to think, oh, maybe I'm not so good drawing, I shouldn't try animation. Well, I would like to say you can try animation because there are ways, there are procedures you can follow like this one to create funny stuff. Okay, I have a question in the chat. OG gamers, do you going to add assets stored? We tried a long time ago. This is an answer for OG gamers. We tried a long time ago an asset stored, and it was an absolute failure. Too few people was wanting to create new assets, wanted to buy assets from us. So that's the reason we decided to open the repository, and now it's absolutely free. So there won't be a store. All you have to do to use assets from a repository is to go to the library panel and use the engine. The engine is all you have to do. It's all you have to do. Of course, we are requesting for your support. I hope some of you help us with little donations. We are just asking $1 one time per person, hoping that some people around the world are wanting to help us. Okay. So let me explain you a little the twin I use for this animation. Okay, this animation is actually very easy to create. The dynamic background is just an space background I got from the repository. Let me show you. I type space and I look for a dynamic background. Let's wait for the answer, and in few seconds I hope we will get the list of possible assets we can use. There we go. So there it is, a background, a dynamic background, another dynamic background, and this is another. This is some kind of planet, maybe Mars. So I decided to use this one, but I could use this one, and of course I'm expecting to add a lot of more and more and more backgrounds, so you can have a wide collection of options. So you always can pick, okay, I want to use this one, I want to use this one. I am very aware that there are users that want to create their own backgrounds, so they are absolutely free to create their their own designs, and it's okay. This is almost for all these kids that are thinking, I'm not good drawing, so I'm not going to try animation. Well, there is an option you can use, which is easy and fun. Okay, so the first step I made was to add a vector dynamic background using the library panel, as I already showed you. I set the value, the direction for the movement of the background is left, and the speed of the movement for the background is 15 pixels per every frame. That's the value. So, let me show you. If I disable the layer of the bottle, you can watch the space moving along, and that's it. That's all you have to do to create a dynamic background. Okay, it's a little boring, but let's add the bottle. To add the bottle, all I have to do was to include the bottle in the first frame of the the only layer I'm using for this example. So I added once. After that, I pick the rotation twin and I create a new twin. So I select the bottle, and then I pick the set properties option, and for this example specifically I used 120 frames. I use a continuous twin, direction clockwise. If I want to, I can change it in the other direction, no problem at all. And I use a value, the speed of the turning action of the bottle is 3 for my case. You can try other values. After applying the twin, I can preview the result, and there it is. Okay. Okay. That's all. Now, something important. All the examples I am showing you in the workshops, I am posting them in my profile on the TupiTube social network. So if you allow me, I want to show you. This is my profile on tupitube.com. So if you look for Gustav, you will find me, and you will be able to watch all the examples I am posting in every workshop. Now, something really important that I want you to pay attention is that you always will get access to the source file of all the examples. So in case you want to download it, to open it from your own installation of TupiTube Tasks, you will be able to watch and modify the examples that I am showing you. Now, if you want to do it from the scratch, it's really easy, as you already watch it. It's really easy to start this kind of exercise from zero. All you have to do is to download. All you have to do is to download the assets from the repository, insert them, use some kind of trick like a twin, and that's it. Now you have this. It's really simple. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, we are back. Sorry. Okay, that's the first part of the workshop. Now let's try another exercise from the list I prepared for you today. So let's go to the exercise number 2. Let me check the chat because there are several people making questions. What is the tool with the squiggle for? Sorry, what is the tool with the snake for? The snake icon. That's a good question. Which is the snake? The snake icon. let me check a little. Um, the snake icon, maybe you are talking about the polyline tool. That should be Claude Billot. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name in the right way, but Claude, the snake icon is for create polylines or polyline objects in the workspace. Okay, now let's focus on the second exercise. Moses Francis asked, can we add more than one twin for one object? Absolutely. There are several Tupi tips in the TupiTube channel and making some exercise using applying several twins on the same object. So it's possible. It's possible. You can mix, for example, a motion twin with a rotation twin if you want. It's possible. Okay, let's focus on the second exercise. Oh, I think we're not going to be able to watch all the examples. I'm going to try to go faster. So let's open the second exercise for today. Is this planet? It's some kind of a spaceship exploring the surface of a planet. That could be Mars, that could be whatever planet you want. So let's understand how we did this. The first step, as in the previous example, is what's exactly the same. I mean, I just have to add a background from the library repository. I use the word planet to search. Oh, and I have to look for dynamic background. And there it is. So I just import the asset. And now I set the direction of the movement for the background to left. And I use a value of 20 pixels per frame to set the speed of the background. Oh, sorry. Now, if I go to the frames mode, if I disable the layer, no, I will have to disable the foreground layer. No, I cannot do this time. Okay. Let's do it in this way. I'm going to disable the foreground layer, which is the layer holding the spaceship. If I'm doing it well, it shouldn't appear. Where is? Okay, it seems there is a little bug in the application because the foreground layer shouldn't be able right there. But okay, don't pay attention to me. Okay, finally understand. The spaceship and this little shadow are located in the vector static background mode. That's the reason I couldn't find it. So I really can disable if I disable the vector static background. If I move to the frame mode, exactly. Now you can see the spaceship now is not available. So this is the first step to make this exercise. I just had to add the dynamic background, and that's it. That's the point I am right now. Of course, from the frames mode, I have to add some frames to start the movement. For this example, I decided to create 100 frames. Okay, with 100 frames created in the first layer of the project, I can get this effect. Now, I want to add a spaceship. So how can I do it? I'm going to use the, let me enable once again the vector static background. Okay, the spaceship is back. Now, all I have to do is move to the vector static background mode and look for the spaceship I want to use. Let's look for an UFO in the object section of the repository. I have two options. I have this one and I have this one. For this exercise, I decided to use this option. All I have to do is import the asset and place it in any location of the workspace I want to use it. Now, the little detail of the shadow is quite simple. It's just an ellipse using the same trick I mentioned before, the transparency. So all you have to do is to pick the fill color black and use some low transparency alpha value, and then you got it. You have some kind of shadow effect that is really cool. I use two ellipses for the effect. You can use just one if you want to. It depends. It is up to you. Once I added these two elements as part of the static background mode, I can move to the frames mode, and that's it. My scene is ready. I didn't have to do too much. And this scene is ready to be exported. So as you can see, you can create a lot of content really easy using the assets from the TupiTube Library project. If you check my profile, as I mentioned, oh, there it is. Let me check. I saw it. There it is. This example is already available in my profiles in case you want to download it and open it from your own installation of TupiTube Desk. Right here is the source file. So you are pretty welcome to join my profile, to join the TupiTube network, in fact. Okay. The second exercise it's ready. Let's check another examples I prepared for you. The third one is about a rocket traveling through the space. And as you can see, the trick is always this. Okay, I'm going to explain it so fast. For this example, I use exactly the same effects, the same tricks I use from the previous exercise. The only thing that changed was that in the vector dynamic background, I used the option down for the direction of the background. So it is moving down, as you can see. Now, for the rocket, I decided to use the vector foreground option because in this layer, all that I add in this layer will be on top of everything else. Why I use the foreground mode for this example specifically? Because I wanted to animate the fire behind the rocket. That's the reason. So in the frames mode, I added all the elements of the fire. As I mentioned before, I only had to use 4 frames to animate the fire. So once I made the 4 frames I needed, all I did was to copy and paste them several times. How many times? It depends how long you want to create your animation. But that's basically what I did here. Now let's take a look to the other exercises. This is exactly the same exercise I described before. It's exactly the same. The only thing that changes is the direction of the rocket and the movement of the space. In this case, the background is moving to the left. It's moving to the left. Exactly the same settings. I added the rocket in the foreground layer, the foreground mode. I animate the fire in the layer of the frames mode, and I added a dynamic background. If I disable the foreground from here, you will see there will be the fire and the background only. Now let me recover the rocket, enabling the foreground layer. And now you have the final result. Okay, my last exercise for today is the rocket taking off from Mars, from the planet you want. Oh, there is a question from the chat. Pumation YT, how I can use the eraser? I'm sorry guys, the application doesn't have eraser implementation yet. We were expecting the support of the community to hire several developers so we can create the eraser, but nobody donate, so we couldn't make it. Sorry. Okay, let me explain a little about the taking off effect, how we did it. Well, in this case, as you can see, the background is static. There is not movement in the background. That part is easy. I get the background from the library too. As you can see here, I imported, and that's it. Now for the rocket, in this time the rocket is moving. So I have to use, for this example, I have to use 3 layers actually. The first layer is for the fire. If I disable, there is not fire. Oh my god. Not sure what is in the first layer then. Oh, let me try this. I remember. It actually is a little shadow. As you can see here, there is a little shadow behind the rocket. So as the rocket start moving, as you can see, the shadow is changing a little. So I animate a shadow in the first layer. In the second layer, I animate the fire of the rocket, and the third layer was for the smoke. If I disable the third layer, there won't be smoke. Oh god. Ah no, I'm sorry. The third layer is for the rocket. If I disable, there won't be rocket at all, just the fire. Okay. So let's check again. The first layer was for the shadow effect of the rocket. As you can see, this little effect right here. The second layer was for the fire and the smoke. The fire and the smoke are in the same layer, the second layer. And for the third layer is just for the rocket that I have to move a little in every frame. As you can see, I have to add it and move it, add it and move it. I could use a motion twin here, maybe it could be possible. I didn't want to try it. In this case, I just wanted to try frame by frame animation. Well, that's basically the structure of this exercise. As I mentioned before, once again, all these examples are available in my profile in the TupiTube social network, so all of you are very welcome to join us. Remember that the source files of every exercise is right there. Oh, Sonny, thank you so much for wanting to support our project. I really appreciate it. Okay. Well, guys, that's all for now. I think that I'm going to repeat this just to have it in in the TupiTube channel. As you can see right here, we are creating a collection of workshops so you can practice a lot and learn a lot about animation. Okay, I think that that's all for now. Let me finish sharing my usual screen, asking to the community for supporting our project. Remember that you can help us from $1 in any case. Guys, I hope today you learned a lot. I hope you enjoyed this workshop. Of course, I will keep making more and more so you can learn a little bit more about animation. And that's it for now. TupiTubers, keep animating and see you in the next video.